Alright guys, we're going to start from the back of the bike onto the front. This is the motorcycle in the present condition. And after this video, there will be all still pictures of all the stages of the motorcycle. Now, we'll start here with the rear tire. These tires are somewhat new. They have maybe 500 miles on them. These are Shinkos. The front one's also a Shinko. Now, I change my own tires. You know, I take the wheels off. I mount the tires on the motorcycle myself because I don't trust anybody. Let me show you the tire machine I have. Okay, that's the tire machine with all that crap on top of it. That's a Nomar tire changer. I think I paid 700 and almost 800 bucks for that guy there. Now the company will tell you that model of the Nomar tire changer, they won't change the 300 millimeter tires, but I did it and it can do it. The rear fender, I cut that rear fender myself. All these things here, like all these aluminum pieces, you guys know I made those. There's also another piece in there to cover up the adjusting screw hole. And there's also one on that side too. These saddlebags here I got off eBay. They're handmade by some guy down in Mexico. There's no make on them. Those are blow performance pipes, or they're also called ambush pipes. You guys know I made that bracket for them. I also made that to cover up the holes. This is an add-on. And you guys know I made these. This is lambskin. That's an add-on. The twin spike air filter is an add-on. I still have the original filter in there. The oil cooler, this allows 1 extra quart of oil. That didn't come with the bike. These visors here, I made these. These didn't come with the bike. I have one on the Speedo, one on the headlight. Speaking of the headlight, there is an LED inside there. These motorcycles come with a halogen bulb. They're good, but they're not very good. So all the lights in this, including the license plate light, are LED. The license plate also is not LED as the motorcycle comes from the factory. But I changed it because I feel it's a little bit brighter. This is an add-on. We made those. We made the Reaper blades down there and the aluminum mud flap. I made that also. As you see, this the tire is brand new on the front. These fork guards here, I also made these too. You know, a lot of this stuff, you can't buy them. You have to be able to make it. If you can't make it, then, oh well. This is, I think this is from Lowbrow Customs. This enricher. That enricher pull valve. I think that's from Lowbrow Customs. And you guys know we have a blue LED light kit on this, right? See, we put a piece of polished aluminum down there because I have lights up underneath here, so I'm going to reflect on that. What else? Oh yeah, the bird foot pegs, those are aftermarket. When I first got the motorcycle, the guy that had this before me, he wore down the rubber on these foot pegs, so I covered them up with leather. These mirrors are also, they're aftermarket. I still have the original set of mirrors in the box. This is also, I added a horn because the guy that had this before me, he cut the horn must have vibrated off of this. So he snipped the wires, and the horn wires of this actually go into the ECM. So if you don't know where they're going in, which I don't have any idea where, there's 4 wires. I have no idea where they go into the computer. So this goes directly inside here, under the tank, through the down tube, and right onto the battery. And by the way, looking at this, we also made our own seat covering too. Let me see what else here. You guys know I made this. This is an aftermarket. That doesn't come with these motorcycles. The tack doesn't work. You know, the idiot lights, I really don't care because I don't ever use the tacks on these. I really don't like them. I like a dial tack. You know, this has the LED lights that light up. I'm kind of glad the tack doesn't work because I don't pay any attention to the tack anyway. I pilot the motorcycle by the seat of my pants. Another thing on these bikes here that you have to watch is this retainer ring here for your ignition will come loose if you don't use thread locker on it. That will come loose. These bolts here will come loose. Basically, whenever on these motorcycles that vibrate a lot, when you put your fasteners back on, you have to use thread locker. You know, so that ring on your ignition switch, that has to have thread locker. Those bolts there have to have thread locker. Now, those 2 bolts there, they took turns coming loose and getting lost. So those are actually replacement bolts. I don't know if you guys can see those 2 bolts in there. Those have thread locker. Those don't come loose anymore because they have thread locker on them. So the only fasteners that ever came loose on this motorcycle were the ignition retaining ring. Those 2 bolts there. Matter of fact, I'm going to check those probably tonight. So that ring, those 2 bolts, and those 2 bolts. And let's go to the other side. And then every once in a while, that bolt will come loose, and that one there, that'll come loose. And that's about it. Those are the only ones that come loose. And that's once in a blue moon, guys. You know, that's why every once in a while you have to check. You have to check bolts. All the bolts that you have experience with coming loose on these, you got to check them. You got to check these guys. You know, there's a lot of weight on this double spike. It's a lot of weight on that. So, you know, every once in a while you can go like that to make sure it's not loose. You know, pipes are, nothing's coming loose on it because I checked this vigorously. You know, that's what you have to do when you own a motorcycle. You have to be on top of everything, or you're going to have trouble and you just might get hurt. When I first got that bike, the aluminum was not polished. The guy really neglected the aluminum, and I'm talking about the aluminum on the engine. I polished those fins on the engine. I polished the insides of the fins. I polished the outsides. I polished the engine halves. I polished every aluminum part that this motorcycle has. I polished it over about a period of a year. It took me because I think that's the reason why the guy got rid of it, because it's just there's a lot of aluminum on these big dog choppers. You know, if you don't have the time to upkeep it, these aren't for you. Because you just can't wash aluminum. You have to polish it. That's the downside of having aluminum parts. You know, you see how the fins look like they're chromed? Those are aluminum. The lands are polished. can see the engine case down there, how it's polished. Even the shifting rod. The foot controls, that one there is just a little scratched up. I could probably take those scratches out. Maybe this winter I'll take those apart and I'll get the scratches out and I'll put them on the buffing wheel. You know, and so it's like when I took the wheels off. I have a video on how I polished up the wheels. You know, it's like your controls. This is all aluminum. This is not steel. It's not chromed. This is all aluminum. And when I got this was all faded. You know, these levers here, these are all aluminum levers. Your speedometer housing's aluminum. Your triple trees are aluminum. They're all aluminum billet. You know, these were in really rough shape when I first got it. They were nothing like what you see now. The lower fork ends, the lower fork tubes, these are aluminum also. This bridge piece right here, this is cast aluminum. That's why the chrome on this flakes. These are cast aluminum. These brackets here, these are aluminum. Your front wheel and your back wheel is aluminum. This piece here and that one on the other side is also aluminum. It's like these. The fender struts are aluminum. They're not chrome plated. You know, then you guys know most of the engine parts, like the camshaft cover, this is aluminum. I believe the rocker box covers are cast aluminum. That's why these also flake. That's why they also flake. A lot of people say you can sand them down, because mine are flaking a little bit right there. But I'm leaving them alone. I don't care. I'll leave them like that. The tires, I have balancing beads inside the tires. Because these wheels here, they're special wheels. You can put weights on the rims. You can put the weights on them that stick to the rims, but that'll look like hell. You know, so what do? You get maybe chrome weights that stick to the wheels? No, you can get balancing bead, guys. That's what I have. There's I got those on Amazon, and they have a chart there on how many ounces of balancing beads you put in for the size tire you have. And it's best to put them in before you mount the tire on the wheel, but I didn't do that. I had to make it hard on myself. You know, I put the balancing beads in through the valve stem tube after. You know, and the easiest way to do it is you throw they come in like little sacks. And you basically just put them in, so you just throw the sack of balancing beads inside the tires when you mount the wheel. And they come apart and they spin all over the place there eventually. The sack comes apart and they spin all over the place. So, okay, now the next pictures you're going to see on here is all the stages of the bike. All the stuff I did to it. All the stuff I took off of it, you know, the changes I made to it. And it's like I made a saddlebag for this. I have a saddlebag for it that I made out of leather. It's actually, I actually like it better than these two here. But the reason why I got those Mexican-made saddlebags, the saddlebags that are made down in Mexico by some dude down there, is because I carry tools with me. And I have tools in both of those saddlebags. I have a regular screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, and I have a hex bolt set because everything on this bike is hex bolts, hex fasteners. Everything on here. So you have to carry they're like, hex bolts are Allen, they're like Allen wrenches, they're Allen heads. They're the six-sided Allen head, what do you call them? Allen head bolts or hex bolts or hex sockets, I think that's what they're called. I carry a set on me. And I carry a little 1/4-inch ratchet with a 3/8 with a 1/4-inch to 3/8 adapter. Because some of the sockets in there are 3/8 or for a 3/8 ratchet. But so far, I've never had to pull alongside the road and use the tools in this because I keep up on it. And as long as you keep up on a bike like this, it's like the brakes. I do my own brakes. I don't take the motorcycle to anybody because the majority, 99% of the motorcycle shops around in Allegheny County, they are rip-off artists. Okay, there's only one motorcycle shop I know of that I would trust, and I've never been to him yet, but from what I've heard, you can trust him, and he's over in West Mifflin, and he specializes in big dog bikes. That's the only guy I'll ever go to with this, if I can't fix the problem myself. But I'm a mechanic by trade, and I can do anything to this motorcycle, including rebuilding the engine, if need be. So, all right, let me proceed on with all the pictures that I have of what I did to the bike. All right, this picture here is my Mother Road seat, and I made a section of leather for the tank. I wound up taking it off, didn't like it. This is a Chinese seat I got off eBay. Here's a shot of unfinished leather with the Chinese seat on. Now that's a shot of the tank bib finished. Here's a closer view of the Mother Road seat. I still have that. That's a quick change seat. That's another shot of it where I decided to try to put the tool bag on top of the headlight. That's something I tried. I wound up taking it off. I really didn't like that piece of aluminum on the back. This is a picture of the Vance & Hines pipes, which I still have. These are drag pipes. I still have those too. Now this is when I fringed the whole bike out. All the fringe there you see is that's all Cognic lamps in. Here's a picture of the big dog beside my Honda Rebel, which I sold the Honda. Here's another picture of it. Just show you the sheer size of the chopper next to the Honda. That's a Honda Rebel 250, by the way. Here's another shot of it. Here's a picture of the big dog where I park at. And that's a picture of the big dog in the showroom at Street Track and Trail in Conneautville, PA. There we tried a velocity stack, which was getting too much air. I could have probably adjusted the carb for it to work on that. This is an old tank bib I didn't like it. It was a little bit too much. And here's a picture of my old Harley. I think it was a 81 FL.